welcome back to B&E Productions. I'm Ethan, and here we are with another Airsoft review. And today's review is going to be about the LCT AK12. This gun is an absolute beast. It's a tank. So, to kind of preface this, I wanted a modernized AK, and I saw Grand Thumbs and Airsoftology's reviews on their respective AK12s, you know, Grand Thumb obviously being a real one, and Airsoftology's being an airsoft one. And I fell in love. I was like, man, that thing is so cool, and I want it. So when I went searching for it online, found out that I was out of stock in a lot of places, so I kind of had to play that waiting game. But yeah, once it came in stock, I was like, all right, I'm gonna buy it. So I did. And man, this gun surprises me in a lot of ways. Some good, some bad, so let's get into it. So starting off with the muzzle brake, or flash hider, whatever they're trying to do here is, this thing is very aggressive, very cool looking. So only a small section of it is orange, which is awesome, rather than this whole thing being orange. Kind of just helps with either if you're going to paint it or remove it or anything like that. To be honest, I am not sure at all how to take this off. On the website, it does say that it is threaded for 14mm negative. I have no clue how that works. I've only had this gun for a couple months now. I've shot it maybe about 3 times. Yeah, I haven't been able to get out there as much, but I've been able to do enough, I think, for a good review. But for taking it apart in that respect, no. For the look of it, though, it's amazing. But yeah, I'd probably just paint this over if you wanted a black one, because this is a very unique flash hider, and I don't think I would want to get rid of it entirely. So moving down, we have our typical barrel. It is a pretty long barrel, but it is a AK variant, so, you know, known for their longer barrels. We have our gas tube with our front sight post, so rather than the front sight post being out here, it's moved on top of here, which kind of makes it more sturdy. It's not gonna like fall off or get hit off or anything like that. Right below that, we have a sling mount point, so you can go ahead and mount a sling and it'll swivel to either side if you're a lefty or a righty. Behind that, we can have our textured gas tube up here, and then moving behind there, we get more towards our handguard and rail. So the handguard is very it's a good grip. So say you don't have like a foregrip or anything like that, it's a pretty good solid grip. Down at the bottom here, you do have a good length of Picatinny to go ahead and mount lights, lasers, foregrips, etc. On the right hand side, it's pretty open. You do have like these vents for, you know, the air on the real version, but on this one, just mainly cosmetics. But on the left and the right hand side, you do get a small section if you wanted to put any lights or lasers, etc. And then from there, we have our top rail, which goes to about here. And that's a pretty good section. So say you were doing, I don't know, MVG work and you wanted a pack or anything, lights, lasers, etc. You can go ahead and put anything on top of that. There is a small break in the section, and that is for the removal of the top rail here, like the kind of dust cover rail. So the way this works is this goes ahead and flips up, and then you remove it. It's a pin, so you just push it straight out, and then so you can take the top cover off, and then that gives you access to all of this good stuff. So this is small type Tamiya, and I like how it's done in here. It's all very organized. It's all pushed down, so you only have what you need. And this is all open, this space, so you can go ahead and push that battery into that gap, so you can get a pretty decent sized battery in here. Of course, stick type, that is what's going to fit in there. But so to put it back on is very simple. Once you get all that reassembled, there are these little notches in the back here, so that line up with these hooks. So it's very easy to go ahead and put this cover back on. You just make sure all those hooks are aligned. You're able to push it all back into place, and then you'll go ahead and you'll take your pin and it'll slide right back in, and then push it back down, and you are all good to go. So that brings us kind of a little higher to our rear sight. To be honest, these sights, I don't like them. The reason for that is because the aperture that they used back here is very, very small. So when, say you're in a low ready and you go up, to be honest, the rear sight obstructs the whole front sight post. And I'll try to get it in this frame here. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but yeah, it's not good. This is definitely a gun that I would recommend putting a red dot on. And any other color, so like, if you can tell here, this is white, painted white, and it's still pretty difficult even against that black aperture. So yeah, I would definitely just throw a red dot on here and call it a day. In the daytime, like when I was shooting outdoors, it was a bit better, but even still, say I'm running and gunning or having to deal with extended ranges, I don't think they're very good for that. So yeah, I'll definitely just go ahead and put a sight on here. So kind of going down from there to our lower receiver, we do have kind of the Russian stamped markings, and we have our selector switch on the right hand side. Sorry, lefties. I gotta say, this thing is stiff as hell. I have been playing around with it, trying to get this to break in a little better, but it's still really, really stiff. But it does give you that extended thing, so once this does loosen up, you can go ahead and just use your trigger finger to push it down. Like I said, I haven't been able to do that just yet. But we have our full auto and then semi down at the bottom. So it is pretty nice. Like, once you are able, it's a very positive click, and you are able to tell what fire mode you're in, whether in safe, semi, or full auto. So that's pretty nice. It's got a pretty nice trigger. It does kind of have like that Airsoft mush trigger. It's not great, but it's not like terrible. I will say, when I was firing this, I was having to get a little used to the trigger, and just kind of playing around with it. I mean, that's kind of like any new gun that you get, you will have to kind of play around with it, but yeah, I'm still just trying to figure that out. The grip is very nice. I love, like, typically I don't really like finger grooves, but this is very comfortable and very nice. So good on them. Kind of rotating this out to the other side. The left-hand side is very clean. Nothing really there. So, yeah, you just have like these rivets and stuff, but very clean. Magazine is very, very cool. I'm going to go ahead and set this down for a second. So the magazine is very, very cool. It's kind of built around the 5.45 AK round. So if you didn't know, with like Airsoft AKs, between 7.62 or 5.45, these magazines are the same because Airsoft guns don't have calibers. So they're basically all the exact same between them. You may have some differences between like really odd specific AK variants, but for the most part, they're all the same. I will say this magazine, like, it feels good, but it doesn't feel like super sturdy. like, I feel like they probably could have used a better plastic. Like, I definitely think this thing is durable, but it doesn't feel durable, if that makes sense. Like, I've dropped this plenty of times during reloads and stuff like that, and you can hardly tell. But yeah, I wish it felt a little sturdier. Especially in comparison to the rest of the gun. Like, this gun is ridiculous. Like, it's heavy as hell. It is a monster. But the magazine just feels, I don't know, kind of playish. But it locks in good. It's strong. You can order extras of these. They didn't for a while, but now they are available. They are pretty expensive. I think they're about $20 a mag. From what I could tell is they're sold out pretty much everywhere, but that could change by the time you watch this video. So just keep an eye out. I'll put a link in the description for it as well. So moving back, we do have our stock. So it is a numbered buffer tube, and this is kind of like an M4 style stock here. Adjustable for your length of pull and whatnot. So what's cool about this is it is a folding stock, and you know, once you get your sight alignment, and you can go ahead and adjust this to where you need it. This is a pretty long gun. Like, I don't even know if it's in the frame for most of this review, but this is a very long gun. So they kind of modernized it by giving it a foldable stock. So you press this button here, and that goes ahead and releases it for you. And now you are locked in, good to go. It does have a little bit of play here, but that's just the nature of this design. So now you have a pretty short AK. I mean, you still got this huge long barrel, but yeah, now it's a bit more compact. Say you're traveling, you're in vehicles, or I don't know, you just wanted to have short AK if you're trying to go CQB, which you probably won't be able to, and I'll get into that why later. But the release on this, I gotta say, kind of sucks. So the way it works is you push down on this back piece here, and it swings out. And I don't know if it's just my gun or the way this is designed in general. So this pops out to be able to release it. So you need to like slam it back in for it to work. I don't know if that's the way it's intended to work, or mine has just needs to break in or what, but I don't know. I don't like that. So I'll have to play around with that some more, because that's kind of, I don't like that. But yeah, this is definitely a very feature-rich gun, especially on the internals. I think the internals are great, and it shoots well, but it shoots way too hot. So we'll go ahead and show you. There we go. 367. 366, 368, 365, 368, 368, 369. $13 to 15 rounds, averaging out at 14 rounds a second. So now that we're back from the chrono, I'm using 2.8s in this, and the FPS is ridiculously high. So if you want to use this either at an indoor game or any game for that matter, you are probably going to have to downgrade the spring or have some work done to bring the FPS down on this. And I don't know, to me that's a hard sell out of the box, because it's kind of dumb. I don't think you should have to downgrade the gun for it to be able to work, or to be able to play at a field. If you wanted to try to make this like a DMR or something, then maybe that FPS would be fine. But yeah, this thing shoots way too hot to play at most fields, which is unfortunate. I mean, for me and my uses, mainly I'm using this as a movie prop gun, especially with now Airsoft being kind of hard to play because of, you know, the world situation right now. But yeah, I think this thing looks cool. It has a lot of potential to be amazing. Like, it shoots well, it's very accurate. It's a fun gun, but yeah, it's just, this gun is very expensive, and then already on top of that, to have to do more work just to go and be able to play at a field is kind of disappointing. One thing I didn't go into earlier was the hop-up. So it's an AK, no bolt hold open, so you're gonna have to hold this back. And it's like that lever design where you have to like push it forward or backwards to be able to adjust it. I think that's just where we're at with the AK hop-up. I haven't really seen any other AKs with different hop-ups. To be honest, I kind of don't like it. I don't think it's very precise. So maybe in the future somebody can work on a hop-up that works better, or at least easier to work with, because trying to like do that with gloves or anything, I just don't think that's a good design. Going back to magazines for a second here. It's good, positive magazine release. No qualms there. And then also some other AK mags that I just wanted to test out. These are the blue box mags. I've heard a lot of great things about them, so I just bought a box and wanted to test them out. These are pretty rock solid in here. They fit and feed pretty well, so no complaints there. And then I have a Matrix magazine here as well. That locks in pretty rock solid. So you can definitely use a lot of magazines in here, as this one gets kind of jammed up in there. Okay, and we're back. So I was able to get the Matrix magazine out of there, so maybe it doesn't fit so well. I was actually able to get that pretty stuck in there, so now we're back. So yeah, maybe not Matrix magazines, but the blue box mags do fit and feed, and so do the standard magazines that it comes with. And the magazine it does come with is a mid cap, so that's pretty nice. But yeah, I do wish that this gun shot a lot lower FPS there. But other than that, I think this thing is really awesome. Definitely would recommend a sling. This gun is ridiculously heavy. Even compared to like real guns, like this thing is like, it's heavy. But yeah, I would definitely put a red dot and a sling on here, and I think that would help out a lot of the problems. Or I don't want to say problems, but definitely help mitigate some of those things that are the nature of this gun. But yeah, if you want to go out and play with this, you are probably most likely going to have to downgrade the spring, which is unfortunate. But other than that, I think this is a pretty great gun. It's sturdy, accurate, feels good to shoot. So yeah, if you have any questions about this or any other guns or gear, anything like that, go ahead and leave it in the comments. And thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.